What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Packers Preview, brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. I am Wes Hawkowitz, joined alongside my colleague, Mike Spofford, here previewing the Green Bay Packers taking on the Detroit Lions. Week 13 already here. Thanksgiving Day matchup on Fox, a game that can be viewed at noon Central start time. Mike and I here for a special edition because we will soon be traveling and getting on our way to Detroit. We're going to knock out a Packers preview here on a special Wednesday morning edition. You can submit your questions on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Our wonderful social media staff will bounce them over to me. I will bounce them off Mike. And while we don't have a true injury report right now,
not yet,
we do know that the Packers have been estimating their injury report as this week because they're not actually practicing. Yesterday they conducted a walkthrough. A few various updates that maybe you want to touch on here before we get started. Both teams banged up as you would expect at this point of the season. Obviously, when you look at Green Bay's injuries situation, Keyshawn Nixon suffers the stinger, leaves the game on Sunday in the victory over the Vikings. He was listed as a DNP on Monday, upgraded during the walkthrough to limited. Matt LaFleur saying yesterday he'll be a game-time decision. Nate Hobbs also has been estimated as limited. He's missed the last 3 weeks because of a knee injury. Lucas Van Ness has been a DNP. He only played 6 snaps in the game against Minnesota. We'll see what the situation is for him going into Thursday night or Thursday afternoon. But more importantly, we are here looking at the Josh Jacobs situation. And Josh said last week he felt the worst-case scenario was him being available for Detroit if he didn't get to play against Minnesota. Again, we'll all see how this shakes out. But certainly, if number 8's on the field and whoever else in this receiving corps is available, all of it would be helpful to Jordan Love in the Packers' attempt to defeat, for the first time, and sweep the Detroit Lions in their season series in 5 years.
Yeah, if the Packers can get back to that 1-2 punch in the backfield with Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, you'd really like to see that against this Lions defense. Emmanuel Wilson played a tremendous game, obviously, last week, but if you can kind of go back and forth between those two backs, I think that could really add something to the offense. The other guy I'll mention on the defensive side with regard to the injury situation to watch out for is Quay Walker. He missed last week's game. He had the shoulder stinger in the Giants game from the week before. Then he was not able to play against the Vikings, but he has been estimated as a limited participant as far as the injury report is concerned. So possibly Walker comes back. Now Isaiah McDuffie filled in admirably, had a great game against Minnesota in place of Walker, but if you can get back to having Walker and Cooper and McDuffie and then Tyron Hopper as your fourth linebacker and whatever mix and match combinations you want to use there, that's just more options again for Jeff Hafley.
Yeah, and just quickly touching on the receiver situation, because everyone, I believe, other than Malik Heath is actually on the injury report. But that being said, Romeo Doubs is a full participant with the wrist. Matthew Golden, it's only the wrist right now. It's no longer the shoulder, but he did not play on Sunday. He has been estimated as limited. Savion Williams continuing to work through this foot issue, but playing in games. He's been a DNP the last 2 days. Dontavian Wicks was listed as questionable, but did play in the game with the calf. He has been limited. And Christian Watson, as they continue to monitor his knee, full participation. Packers hopefully getting healthier at receiver. If you can really quickly just set the table, the other name on everybody's tongue right now is Jaden Reed. My good friend and yours, Rob Domofsky, was sort of trying to get in there a little bit, talking to Matt LaFleur on Tuesday about
trying to get some info.
On whether or not Reed could play without practicing this week because of the way that this week is set up. LaFleur said you never know, but certainly that window is open. It opened up, almost a week ago now, and Packers at some point will have number 11 back.
Yeah, they're planning to get him back at some point here, whether it will be for this game or not. I mean, we'll find out essentially later today, at some point on Wednesday afternoon. If Jaden Reed is going to be eligible to play in this game, he would have to be activated to the 53-man roster by 3 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday, with the game being on Thursday at noon. So if the Packers make the roster move there, maybe they're signaling that Reed is going to play. But if the roster move is not made, then the whole Jaden Reed scenario moves forward to next week, looking ahead to the Bears.
Tons of things going on the Detroit side of things as well. We do know, I think Dan Campbell said yesterday, Kirby Joseph will not play in this game. He currently leads them in interceptions with 3 on the season. Again, stay tuned to Packers.com. I will have a story up later today We'll have all the information as it pertains to who's available, who's questionable, who's out, doubtful, what have you.
Yeah.
But again, just to mention for some of the people getting in here late on the X and other platforms, Mike Spofford, Wes Hockowitz, Packers Preview brought to you by Microsoft Copilot, here answering your questions on the Packers social media platforms for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And then also at the top of the hour, you're going to be doing your live Q&A.
Yeah, I've got the midweek chat will be at 11 a.m. I'll go from about 11 a.m. Central until noon. And then I got to pack up the stuff and get to the airport so that we don't miss the flight. So, but yeah, lots going on today in these early morning Wednesday hours.
All the early questions so far about my vest. Dave on Facebook, that's a great vest. Thank you. I assume they're talking about mine. You're not wearing one.
No, I'm not wearing a vest. I'm wearing the old lightweight hoodie. So.
Tom Dickinson, I need that vest. Where did you get that? Packers Pro Shop. I don't know if it's still there yet, but it was the Darius Rucker collection. This is my. It's snowing outside, but it's still not really cold out, so this is what I'm going to wear to work outfit. So be that as it may, we'll see where it all takes us. All right, a couple questions here. We'll start with Camden on YouTube. Hey guys, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. That it is. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish meal? Mine is ham and cornbread and rice and pumpkin pie. Go Pack Go from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of things that I like to eat on Thanksgiving. I mean, obviously the turkey and cranberry tops the list, but I'm also, and I know this is not your thing, but I'm also a green bean casserole guy.
It's the only one I don't like.
So yeah, and so.
I like green beans.
You don't, but you don't like green bean casserole?
No, it's
okay.
the only one. I was visiting my grandmother a few days ago, my wonderful, beloved 94-year-old grandmother, and we were talking about Thanksgiving and just like we all do, reflecting back on childhood and everything. And I told her, I'm like, everything she made was incredible. And it has nothing to do with her cookery, but the green bean casserole and then the canned cranberries were like the only thing I never really dug. If you make fresh cranberries, I'm into them.
Yeah.
But if you get them legitimately out of the aluminum can and just dump them out there, I pass. But turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, I think I've been well documented by now. This is my favorite holiday. Thanksgiving is historically my favorite holiday.
It's mine as well.
You don't have to do presents. You can figure out as small as your circle wants to be. You can avoid family members. We have opportunities now with our jobs that we don't necessarily always have to be at the gatherings if you don't want to be there. And if you do, that's awesome too. But yeah, no, it's fun. I think this is now, we were doing the math earlier, Mike. I think this is my 5th Thanksgiving game, 3 in Detroit, 2 in Green Bay. I think we had you at what, 9?
This is my 8th. This will be my 6th in Detroit, 6th Thanksgiving game in Detroit, and 8th Thanksgiving game overall.
All right. Yep. Daniel on X. John Madden had the turducken. What is your pie in the sky food hybrid for Thanksgiving?
Oh, food hybrid.
We're getting the real, the heavy-hitting questions here.
I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't know about the hybrid thing.
You ever had a turducken?
No, I have not.
I had once. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turkey, duck really isn't my thing, but when in Rome, so.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I guess. I mean, I what I like now. This goes back to the tradition at my grandparents' house when I was growing up and everything like that. I would help my grandma stuff the turkey, put the stuffing actually like in the big turkey, like in the bird, and that was the stuffing that I liked the best.
It's
not the stuff that was that was in in the oven separately. Like I would always go for the stuff that was.
My grandmother and I, legitimately, honest to goodness, we had that conversation on Saturday when I was visiting with her. That she would do the same thing, the stuffing inside the turkey. That it makes such a difference.
Yeah. It was
like free broth. Really.
Yeah, it was the best. It was the best stuffing you could have.
All right, let's get to some football questions. Roger here. Hey, fellas, looking back over the years, what's your favorite Packers Thanksgiving memory?
Oh, wow. I mean, the game from 2 years ago, I'll say, was pretty special.
I think that's mine.
But outside of the recency, getting away from like the recency bias, I'd probably go with the I believe it was the 2009 game when the Packers went into Detroit and won, and Charles Woodson had like a crazy good game, and he was, doing like the Heisman pose in the end zone on his way to the Defensive Player of the Year, and obviously him having played at Michigan, doing the Heisman pose at Ford Field in the end zone. It was that was a pretty neat moment for as far as a Thanksgiving memory.
I think mine has to be what Jordan Love in that Packers offense did 2 years ago. I mean, there's actually, if you think about it, there's been some really cool ones recently, right? I mean, 2015 obviously was not the result that you wanted, but it was the Bart Starr coming back, Brett Favre, the retirement,
no doubt.
all that type of thing. It was sort of that communal sort of ceremony of everybody coming back together. It was great to see Bart. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't very good.
Yeah, it was.
And the Bears won, but the fact is it was just such a memorable moment. Last year was cool. I got to say last year was fun too, because it was an opportunity for, I hated the matchup. I've really been against this thing against the Dolphins the last couple of years where the Packers played them on Christmas and Thanksgiving. It made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's no rivalry there. There's no history. Two teams from completely different parts of the country.
Yeah, it was random.
Felt thrown together.
Totally random.
But that being said, the way the Packers played in that game, the atmosphere at Lambeau Field, I get it, and it's totally cool, and you and I will be a part of it tomorrow or right around this time. The crowd and the way that Detroit fans show out for their team, even when they were really bad, even when the Lions weren't very good, it was always, you can see why it's a tradition and the fact of how that fan base embraces it. But I was super impressed how Green Bay's fan base embraced the opportunity to have games here as well.
No doubt.
I thought last year that really shined through. We'll see next time we do have a game like that. But NFL, not too shabby. Something to keep in mind here moving forward. Okay, this question is from Doug Wilson on X. What do the Packers need to do to stop Jahmyr Gibbs? Seconds ago, before we started this, we were shooting final thoughts and we were shooting some other content. And that's basically the key to this game.
Yeah.
How do you stop Jahmyr Gibbs? They were successful in week one, but then he's also coming off arguably his best performance of the season last week.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, it's just a matter of you can't rely on one guy to make the tackle on Gibbs. You have to swarm him. You have to get multiple hats to the ball. Javon Bullard was talking about this in the locker room yesterday with the media. It's about playing a swarming defense against Gibbs because he is very hard to bring down in the open field. He very rarely gets tackled by the first guy who gets there. You have to have a swarming mentality, get as many guys to the ball as possible to get him on the ground and prevent what a lot of times can look like just very basic plays from just rupturing into these huge explosive gains that he gets down the field. I mean, what he did last week against the Giants was just out of this world. It was crazy.
Glenn Tila on YouTube. With Anthony Belton's inexperience at guard, how will the Packers likely be able to handle the Lions' blitz and twists?
Yeah, that's a good question because you're with Belton, the rookie second-round pick, if he's playing right guard, Sean Ryan is just making now his third start at center. You know that's something that the Lions are going to try to take advantage of with the Packers being on the silent count because of the noise and that kind of stuff. Really, it comes down to communication. It comes down to everybody knowing what the protection call is in a given moment so that everybody knows, okay, I've got this guy, he's got that guy, because the last thing you want to have happen is a miscommunication where two guys block one rusher and then that leaves another guy free just screaming at Jordan Love and it completely blows up the play. So it's all about communication and everybody knowing their assignments and not only knowing your assignment, but then knowing that other guy who maybe is in your line of vision, that your teammate has him and everybody's on the same page. That's how the protection works best.
Anthony Belton is a massive human being, though. I don't know how much that shows up on television. I'm not sure how many people have seen him in person yet. I wrote the story back when they selected him in April. It's hard to find the stats the metrics pre-1990, but you can imagine there weren't a lot of 6'6", 336-pound guards in 1970. He was definitely the biggest offensive lineman they've drafted since Will Whitaker in 2005. He was right around that same size. This is one of the biggest players the Packers have ever drafted, and I think he plays to that. I mean, he was moving people. I'm excited to see where he goes from here and the growth that he has.
Yeah, me too.
Ted Reynolds on Facebook, Micah Parsons defensive MVP. What's your thoughts, fellas? I'll say this. I can't remember. We've shot so many videos now. I'm not sure where I said this, but I think he needs to be in the conversation. I totally respect and understand everything Myles Garrett is doing. Last week, what he did against the Vegas Raiders, oh my goodness. The guy was a one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah.
But you got to keep it in context. I mean, the season that the Browns are having, he's been a bright spot, and otherwise a lost season. He's kind of becoming sort of that Joe Thomas type, where it's a generational player that's playing on bad football teams.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers, when you look at like quote-unquote MVPs, what they did with a good defense, a great defense, and adding Micah Parsons into the mix, I've been saying it for weeks, Mike. I mean, he's been the missing piece to really elevating that entire unit.
Yeah, I agree with you that he definitely belongs in the conversation. And there's still, 6 regular season games left here for everybody. So we'll see exactly where this goes. I think it's going to present a very interesting dilemma, so to speak, for the voters when it comes down to it, because Myles Garrett very well could set the new single-season sack record. Yeah. That record that Michael Strahan and T.J. Watt now share at 22.5 sacks. He's got enough games left, to where he could jump ahead of that. And would the AP voters actually vote somebody else Defensive Player of the Year when the single-season sack record gets broken? Obviously, the question is, the Browns have 2 wins right now. How many wins are they going to end the season with? They have not been a factor in, the postseason race or anything like that. So I think it becomes a very interesting decision for the voters. Are they going to go with somebody with the best numbers and a potential record like Myles Garrett, or are they going to go with the best defensive player on one of the best defenses in the league, which is where Micah Parsons enters the conversation?
This question is from Pat Bryan on X. What a great Irish name, Pat Bryan. Great stuff as always, Spoff and Wes. Will the eventual return of Jaden Reed as a formidable slot receiver be the factor that encourages a more aggressive downfield passing attack as the season wears on? I think that's a fantastic question. And obviously, when you look back to the early part of last season, when Reed was healthy, cooking, everything was going well, he was a huge difference maker in terms of moving the sticks through the middle of the field.
Yes.
Once he's back, whether that's this Thursday, whether it's next Sunday, whenever it is that happens, that's an area I feel like of the Packers' game in this offense that I don't want to say returns, but definitely gets enhanced.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, what I like the best about Jaden Reed and what we've seen from him over the first 2 years of his career, when he led the Packers in receiving both in 2023 and 2024, is he is a guy who he can be a yards after the catch guy, taking the short pass and turning it into a big play, and he can also be a deep downfield over the top guy. And I think Matthew Golden can be that type of guy as well. Just unfortunately, Golden has been dealing with these injuries. He had the shoulder, now he's got the wrist. He's been in and out of the lineup and not playing consistently. And for all of the talent, that a receiver like Matthew Golden has, you're not going to develop at this level if you're not playing on a regular basis. And he just needs to get healthy and get back to that. What I think is the most intriguing is if the Packers can get to a point health-wise where you have a 3-receiver set of Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, and Jaden Reed on the field all at the same time. That is something that could be a real problem for defenses as an option. And that, and then you can always mix in Romeo Doubs or Dontavian Wicks, the other guys that they have as well. But that's a trio that I would like to see at some point here on the field together down the stretch. Hopefully that happens sooner than later.
A couple more minutes here. He's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hodkowitz. We have Jordan behind the camera. Daniel Lopez working the streaming device over on the other side of the wall over there. Packers Preview brought to you by Microsoft Copilot. Answering your questions on the Packers social accounts on X, Facebook, YouTube. This question is actually one I was already researching. If you want to add anything, feel free to add to it. If you don't want to add anything to it, we'll move on to the next question.
Okay.
But I researched this on my own because I have the Microsoft Copilot. You do not. This question was from Cindy Bernard on Facebook. What's Detroit's average rushing yards this season? I remember when the Packers held Detroit to -3 yards or something crazy. The average rushing yards for Detroit Lions this season, which is, to be honest with you, Michael, I hadn't really brought up all the stats until now, and obviously there's been some consternation about their play calling. John Morton did it. Now Dan Campbell's taking it over. They do rank pretty much in the top 5, top 8 across the board in most categories. Their rushing offense, though, is their most prodigious, though. 139.8 yards per game. That's third most in the league. 5.11 yards per carry. That is second most in the National Football League this season, trailing only MVP contender Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts at 5.21. Got to stop Jahmyr Gibbs. Got to stop David Montgomery.
Yeah,
that's where this starts.
Yeah, and the Packers did that so well in Week 1, right? I mean, I think it was Gibbs and Montgomery combined for, was it 55 yards or
I think it was like wasn't it like more like 87 or something, but it was like 33 carries.
It was a yards per carry that was quite low. The Packers did a great job back in Week 1, but a couple of things that we've seen evolve with.
Oh my goodness, Michael, you are absolutely right. I am absolutely wrong. I apologize. I'm getting my games mixed up. 44 rushing yards on 20 carries.
44. Okay, so I even overshot it.
That is wild.
That was a tremendous job against the run. Now that was also predicated on the Packers building a 17-3 halftime lead. Yep. The Lions, weren't able to run the ball in the second half and all of that as well. But we've seen a couple of things evolve with this Lions running game over the course of the season. One that you had mentioned, John Morton, the offense coordinator, lost the play calling duties to the head coach Dan Campbell. He took that over a few weeks ago, and we've definitely seen Campbell's insistence on running the ball, establishing the line of scrimmage, setting up everything in the play action game for Jared Goff, because that is where the Lions' passing offense works the best. The other thing that we have seen is that what really finished last season and started this season as very much a job share at running back between Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery has definitely tilted more and more towards Gibbs as the season has gone along, because he's so explosive. He is such a breakaway threat. He's the home run hitter and now Montgomery is still plenty formidable, and he's a powerful back who is tough to tackle, and he's really, really tough around the goal line. But just in terms of the number of carries and the number of opportunities, Gibbs is the guy that they've been wanting to feed the ball as much as possible. And if things aren't maybe quite clicking in the running game, Jahmyr Gibbs is catching passes out of the backfield too. They want to get the ball in his hands, get him into open space, and see what he can do. 19
touches in the opener against Green Bay, 50 total yards, and he actually had a 14-yard carry mixed in there. He only had 19 rushing yards total, so Green Bay's going to need another performance like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's answer 2 more, and then we got to get you to your live chat. We go from speaking to the people to writing and typing to the people. Just give us a quick update here, Mike. This question was from James Nelson on Facebook. What's going on in the status of Matthew Golden and Lucas Van Ness? Detroit has to pull out all the stops every series for 4. Every series is 4 down territories. Yeah. Special teams will be huge. Take that however you want to take that.
Yeah, well, the injury update, unfortunately with Lucas Van Ness, the Packers thought everything was lining up for him to be back from the foot injury and be ready to play last week against the Vikings. He was only able to go about a half a dozen snaps, and things weren't feeling right. He had to come out of the game. He has not been, he's been listed as a DNP on the injury report so far this week. So basically, Matt LaFleur said that he's not where they thought he was as far as the injury and the recovery and everything. So it's a matter of continuing to work to get him healthy. Matthew Golden, as you said, the shoulder is no longer listed on the injury report, but the wrist injury is there. And I want to say Golden has played maybe only 1.5 games out of like the last 4 or 5 that the Packers have played, something like that. So hopefully, he'll be back, but we just don't know at this point, exactly what his availability is going to be. The point that we haven't discussed yet that was brought up in that question, though, about the 4 down territory and the way the Lions are on 4th downs. Jeff Hafley was kind of reminiscing about that at the podium last night, that the game in Detroit, which was the Thursday night after Thanksgiving last year, he felt as a defensive coordinator, that was the most go for it on 4th downs he's ever seen, that he's ever dealt with. And it is something you have to keep in mind with the Lions. Just because it's 3rd and 6, doesn't mean Jared Goff is dropping back to pass.
Right.
They might be handing the ball off because if they can get 3 or 4 yards and create 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 around the midfield area or on the plus side of the field, or even just if they're close to midfield, if they can get it into 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, there's a really good chance they're going for it. So 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 is not just an automatic passing down for the Detroit Lions. And as a defensive coordinator, the way you use your personnel packages, the way you call the game, that factors into it when you play a team that likes to go for it on 4th down as much as they do.
3rd and 12 too. When it's 3rd and plus 10,
no doubt.
You could do a lot of different things, whether it's screens, draws. There's a lot of different ways they're going to try to.
They're not always necessarily going for broke to get the first down on a 3rd down, whatever the down and distance is, because if they're in a certain spot on the field, they feel like they've got 4 downs to get it. And we saw even 2 years ago in the game that the Packers won on Thanksgiving, the Lions called a fake punt on their own 30-yard line, 25-yard line, something like that. You never know with this team what they're going to do on 4th down.
Last couple questions. This question's Tyler Gajewski from Pulaski, writing this one in from YouTube. Mike, I've got a flight just under an hour to Detroit. What Van Halen album should I listen to during the flight?
Oh, what Van Halen? Well, I mean, you have to listen to 1984 if you're only going to listen to one. That's.
There's not probably time for more.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a pretty quick flight. Nah, go with 1984, Tyler. You'll be fine.
Doris Pringle on Facebook. Michael, would love to see you try on Wes's vest or glasses. I am thankful for you. I'm not going to be able to give you my vest because I currently have a mic attached to it.
Would you like me to try on your glasses?
You have your contacts in though, don't you?
Yeah, that's okay.
You're going to get sick.
No, I won't get sick. I'm not on a merry-go-round or anything.
Try them on. How bad is that?
I can't see anything. I can't see a thing.
I am blind.
But...
Forza Ferrari. There you go. All right. I'm going to sneeze.
Uh-oh.
I'm fighting it. All right. We're good. I think. I can't talk anymore, though. Andrew Faber. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze on everyone there's a million people that follow the Packers Twitter account or X account, and I'm going to sneeze on their ears right now. All right. I think I'm good. Andrew Faber. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Who would you say is due for a breakout game?
Oh, that's a really good question. Actually.
We'll close on this because I don't know if I can speak again.
After seeing, after seeing what Emmanuel Wilson did last week with Jacobs out, seeing what Isaiah McDuffie did on the defensive side with Quay Walker out, those were sort of breakout games in some respects. I'm gonna go with let's see here.
Let's hit the ball, Sergio.
Yeah. You know what? This might be Romeo Doubs hitting the 100 yards in this game.
I like that.
In this one.
I like that prediction.
He bounced back from the drops that he had against the Giants. He made a couple of really clutch catches downfield against the Vikings. Packers obviously didn't throw the ball that much against the Vikings, but I think we're going to see a lot more passing offense from the Packers in this game against the Lions, and I think Romeo Doubs will be a big part of it.
One thing we do know for a fact, Kirby Joseph is out for this game. Dan Campbell told reporters that in Detroit yesterday. That changes the complexion of that secondary. They have good backups, but Brian Branch doesn't play a traditional free safety role. He's more like the Javon Bullard of that operation and that strong safety box role. Now, not to say he can't, but I'm just saying the way he's normally utilized.
Yeah, or
it's Joseph putting the top on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Branch can be, maybe he'll be that slot corner or the box safety type.
Yeah, so very interested to see what you could potentially do with a Christian Watson, with a Matthew Golden if he's available, and then certainly, as you talked about, Romeo Doubs in the equation as well. I think I'm going to get through this without sneezing. I'm really proud of myself. He's Mike Spofford. I'm Wes Hawkowitz. We have a plane to catch. Stay tuned to Packers.com, the Packers mobile app. Tons of content up there already. Mike's One Last Look will be up today. If not, did you post it already?
It may already be up.
Okay.
Yeah, it may have gotten posted while we were running this video.
So many different things going on, but Mike's One Last Look, which ended up being, what is your topic for today? What'd you settle on?
Jordan Love and his last 2 games in Detroit. You look at the numbers. I mean, I know, and he's dealing with an injury. That left shoulder injury is there, and as Love said, he's not going to sugarcoat it. But these are the kind of games where, with the stakes, the tough road environment, the big holiday national TV audience, these are where you ask for your star quarterback to shine, and Jordan Love's going to have a big spotlight on him for this one.
I also posted last night, early yesterday afternoon, a story on Kamal Haddon, who is going to be going back to the Detroit area. He is a native, grew up about half an hour outside of town, started at River Rouge High School, and potentially could end up making his first career start at the same place that he once played Pee Wee football at Ford Field.
That's wild,
way,
man.
way back when. He said that's when he had long hair. He's like, I was the best. He was like, he was all about it back then.
Yeah.
And, setting the tone on the Pee Wee football field.
There you go.
But a name to keep an eye on as the Packers continue to monitor this injury situation. As I talked about before, go to Packers.com later today. We'll have the full injury report for this matchup between the Packers and the Lions. Thanksgiving football week 13. I cannot believe it is already here. But until next time, for Mike Spofford, I'm Wes Hawkwood. Stay tuned to Packers.com and enjoy the game, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving as well.